Hi everybody and welcome back to K Tutoring. Let's start on another question from the reasoning series. This question says a cat sleeps for 12 hours a day. Each day, 50% of his life is spent asleep. Write the missing percentage. A koala sleeps for 18 hours every day. What's the percentage of his life spent asleep? So 12 hours is 50%. What's 18 hours as a percentage? Okay, so I'll give you an example. Now, if a cat sleeps, for example, not this question, a different example. If a cat sleeps for 2 hours each day, for example, that's 20% of his life spent asleep. Koala, if he slept for 4 hours, that'd be 40%, because that would be double times two. Can you see that? So 2 hours into 4 hours is times by two. So if it's 20%, you times that by two. That's it. Really straightforward. But in this scenario, we've got 12 hours, okay? So we've got 12 hours, and that equals to 50%, which is okay, which is good. But the koala, move that along a little bit, the koala sleeps for 18 hours. Now, this is the tricky part. Okay, so what's the percentage for this? We don't know, because 12 doesn't go into 18. So here, look, if you see that example here, 2 goes into 4 times 2. 20% times 2 is 40. Straightforward. This 12 doesn't go into 18. So we can't do that one. But what we could do is we could half 12. So if you put the cursor there, if we half 12, that becomes 6 hours. So if we half his sleeping, we half his percentage, which is 25%. Do you understand? So we half his sleeping, so we half his percentage. So 6 hours, 25%. Now 6 hours can go into 18. Remember before 12 couldn't go into 18. Now 6 can. So let's move this off slightly forward. So how many 6s go into 18? You times this by 3. So if you times 6 by 3, you get 18, which is what we need, okay, for the koala. And what's the hours? If you times this by 3, you times this by 3. And 25% times 3 is 75%. That's your answer. This is your answer. So just going with a little bit of a recap here. Let me just put the answer in there. So 18 hours is 75%. Okay? Let's move it back slightly. There. Right, let's recap. So for example, a cat sleeps for 2 hours, that's 20% of his life spent. A koala, let me just take this off. A koala sleeps for 4 hours. What's his percentage of him sleeping? Because if it's 2 hours and you're going into 4, that's times 2. So 20%, you times 2 there as well, becomes 40. Straightforward. Now we've got the cat sleeps for 12 hours, which is 50%. And the koala sleeps for 18 hours. What's his percentage? What is his percentage? Now, what you do is you do half, because 12 doesn't go into 18 like the 2 went into 4, you half 12. If you half 12, it becomes 6. Then you half the percentage. Obviously, he sleeps a half percentage as well. 6 hours equals 25%. Now, 6 can go into 18. 6 goes into 18. How many times 3? 6 times 3. All you do is 25 times 3, which is 75%. So, a cat sleeps for 12 hours, which is 50%. Carlos sleeps for 18 hours. What's his percentage of his life spent asleep? It's 75%. So here was the example I gave initially, and this was the question. Okay, hope that was clear. It is slightly tricky when it comes to converting one into another, like 12 into 8. 2 into 4 is easy, times 2, but 12 into 18 is difficult. So you have to half it or make a number that goes into 18. So what I did was half it, because if you half it to 6, 6 go into 18. But remember, if you half the hours, you half the percentage. 6 hours, 25%. 6 goes into 18 times 3. 25 times 3 is 75. There is your answer. 75%. Okay? And that is it. A bit of a trickier question, this one. But I hope the way I explained it, you understood. Thank you very much for your time. Slightly trickier question this time. And I hope you have a nice day. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Please share, comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you, and bye bye.